Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to my second live stream of the day. I am doing this live stream because in just a moment, in literally just a moment, I am going to be joined here on camera by another local comic shop owner. And what I've decided to do is to connect with as many of these shop owners as I can to better understand how they are navigating through the shutdown that we are experiencing right now. And you heard from one comic shop owner a couple of days ago how they're managing it. And today I'm actually joined by another. It's another one of the comic shops that I frequent on a regular basis. And I'm gonna tell you that this guy and I have a ton of really fantastic conversations in his shop. And I am now joined by Josh. Josh, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me? Is it good?
Excellent. Can I get you to turn up just a little bit for me so that I can,
Turn up.
yeah, you may have to get
Is
turned,
that
get turned a little.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Is that any better? I don't know. Maybe I speak louder.
Yeah, you
know.
may have to speak
Is
just
that
a little bit louder. I may have to remove my banner from your forehead as well, so we
oh
don't give
well
you that
no,
tattoo.
what's
Actually,
up?
we'll put that back
Yeah,
because
put
that
that right
hair,
back up. Yeah.
that hair, I don't
It's
know
out of
about that one.
control.
So Josh, thank you, man, for making a little bit of time for
Yeah,
me
dude.
here. I want to give you a quick second to kind of introduce yourself, let people know who you are, let them know where your shop is located and the name of the shop.
Cool. Okay, so my name's Josh Hunter. My wife and I, we run CrushComics and Cards here in Castro Valley. We're in the San Francisco Bay Area. We bought the shop in 2017 from my old boss, the guy that had been running the shop for God, it was 27 years then. We're coming up on 30 years if we all survive to July, right? But yeah, so we've been plugging away, slinging books, and meeting really cool people in the shop, and we love it. And we just find ourselves in in dire need of a reboot in this reality. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah. And well, it's
Yeah,
comics, man. So everybody comes
yeah,
back, right?
right,
By
right.
cool people, you are definitely referring to me and not the King of Golden State, right? I just want to be clear about that.
I'm no comment on that one, but yeah, no, you guys are we ha, like it's a weird thing to say, maybe not, but I didn't really realize how many cool people I was going to meet. I got into this because I loved books and selling books and wanting to be my own boss, but man, I've met so many just really cool people and made really good friendships in the shop, and it's so rewarding in that way. Yeah.
Brother, I have to tell you, like, I don't own a physical shop, but I feel very much the same way about this channel, right? This
Yeah.
channel has afforded me an opportunity to literally engage with comic book fans all around the world, you know,
Yeah.
and I've gotten to know people that I'll probably never meet in person. So it's a little bit different, but it is very
Mhm.
similar in that it is a very rewarding experience. And so it
Yeah.
sounds like if I ever set up a shop, I may have a
Yeah,
really
dude.
cool, additional experience, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. Running a shop is there's lots of work to do. There's lots of headaches, like in the regular like day to day workings of the shop. But man, it's really cool, and it's so rewarding, and I'm glad I'm doing it.
And just to
Yeah,
be clear, the shop was there for a long period of time. You
yeah,
you bought it in 2017, but you
mhm.
also worked there prior to buying the shop,
Right,
right? How
right,
how
yeah.
long had you worked in the shop?
So I started working. So it's funny because the first time I set foot in this shop and in Crush Comics, I think I was like 11 years old, and I bought Superman 75. Death of Superman, right? I like had to get that book, and then I made friends with the owner, Mike. Mike's a really cool guy. And then as I got older, like I started reading other stuff, and I'd come in from time to time, and then eventually I found out that he was looking for somebody to help out. And I was out of high school, doing a little bit of college here and there. I wasn't really taking it seriously, and I was like, heck yeah, I want to work at a comic shop. So I worked for him from like 2003 to 2010. And then in that time period, I met my future wife Andrea, and I was like, look, like I'm not going to get promoted to owner. I need to make some money. I need to buy a house. I need to have health insurance and all of that, like big kid stuff, that adult stuff.
Yep.
So I left in 2010, and I did a corporate thing down in San Jose. And I was actually like we were doing semiconductor manufacturing stuff I had never been involved in, but like I was actually really good at it, and I got promoted and promoted and promoted, and I got promoted to a point where I didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know how other people feel, but there was like this level of responsibility. I don't want to say I was a supervisor, and I had 40 direct reports on a manufacturing floor, and it was hurting cats a little bit, and my team was really great, but you know, I wasn't quite happy, and I did some serious thinking, and I talked to Mike, and Mike was, you know, looking for a change, and you know, we hammered out some details, and here we are. So
Brother,
yeah.
I have to tell you that as a people manager myself, and as someone that has, you know, been in the corporate world for quite some time, I definitely know where you're coming from, right? There is a point that you reach, and then a conversation that you have with your significant other about what's really important in life, you know? And I've had that conversation several times with my own wife, where I'm like, so let's just talk about this in level set, you know, because, you know, it's one of those things, man, that if you are a performer and you keep doing what you're doing, you will get promoted, and you might reach a point where you're just not happy because you're so far removed from the thing that you originally really enjoy, you know? So I definitely get that. So what I just heard you say is that I will eventually get my own comic shop, or I will work in a comic shop.
That's the next step, dude. Like, yeah.
I don't know. You guys work pretty hard, man. I don't know.
We do. Man, we do. It's crazy. But like I said, it's cool. When it's running well, it's super awesome. And even when it's not running well, like, you can read a comic if you want. Like, anytime, you can just unplug for a minute. You know?
There are worse gigs, my friend, as you know.
Seriously.
So that was actually a really fantastic transition on your part, right? Because when it's working really well, it's really fantastic. But you know, we could probably all agree that this scenario, this situation, this reality that we're in right now is not what's working well. This is not what hot looks like, right?
No. Yeah. This is like unprecedented, man. Everybody that I talked to about it is like, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And I think we're all kind of in some weird undiscovered country. Like, it's crazy. So, dude, like, I guess
how you weave comic book titles in there is really fantastic, right? Because Undiscovered Country is dope as a read, right?
Yeah, I try.
Now you were about to go somewhere, so go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, so I guess I could give like a quick breakdown of the timeline for us, what happened in the shop, right? So me and my wife were co-owners of the shop, 50-50. There's one of our customers actually thinks he's got a slight percentage ownership because he beat me at Marvel Superheroes one time. We have an arcade game in the shop, and he wanted to play for pinks, but he doesn't have a shop. So, I mean, there's no pink. But he did beat me, so he's got some sort of claim to. Anyway, I digress. So me and Andrea, we work in the shop, and then I've got Cole and Tyler, and those are my employees. They're super great. Good kids. I love them to death. I couldn't do this job without them. They're so valuable to the shop, and they're very important to me. So anyway, about the middle of March, I guess it was March 17th, when they give us the shelter in place order. They're like, okay, you know, midnight tonight, Alameda County. It was like 7 counties in the Bay Area, and I believe we were the first in the state to actually do the shelter in place, right? And they're like, okay, if you're not an essential business, you got to be shut down, no contact with the public. You can still do, what's the word? Like essential work to keep so you don't lose value in your inventory or whatever. It was a big legal headache trying to figure out what we could and what we couldn't do, right? So that day, we were supposed to close at 6:30, but I was like, you know what? Let's just stay open till midnight. Anybody that wants books, we're all going to be at home with nothing to do. Come in and get your books today. You came through. A bunch of really cool people came through that day. It was actually like a super fun day, aside from like the
all things considered, right?
It was a really fun day. But so since then we've done quite a few things in the shop to like just kind of stay on people's radar. You know, we're still here. We don't plan on going anywhere. and we've done some live sales. We did our first Instagram live sale last Saturday, and that was super fun. We had some cool books that I had hidden in the back. What else have we done? We've done mail order for all of our subscriber customers. So any of our subscribers, even people that aren't subscribers, you know, they shoot me an email. You need something, I'll get it to you, right? So that's like a whole new level of hustle for me that like I'm not used to. Like normally the transaction is you come in, I give you a book, you give me money, and then we part ways, and I'll see you next week, right? Now it's like you give me money, then I got to pack all this stuff up, then I got to send it out, and then I got to make like 3 trips to the post office every day because not everybody pays at the same time. So
let's pause for a sec. So basically what we've had is we've had a couple of phases to this thing, right? Because I feel like we were in Alameda County in Northern California, we were like on the precipice of this thing, right? We were early on with the shelter in place. And, you know, the shelter in place kind of came out, but you know, I didn't feel like it was like, don't leave your house. It was like suggested where like you could still do essential things. You could still go to the park. You could still exercise. You could still do a lot of stuff. And during that time, I know that a lot of shops were still like doing curbside pickup, right? There were a couple that were still doing that. And so you were part of that phase, right? With the whole initial wave, shelter in place, but we can still do curbside pickup, right?
Yeah, I think that Monday, the Monday before like the full shelter in place order came down, they were like everybody should try to do curbside to like limit contact, limit the spread, right? And so we did that for that first day, and then they shut everything down Tuesday night, and then Wednesday I called the county supervisor and I was like, hey, you know, it's really important to me that we abide by this order, and we, you know, it's really important to me that I don't get anybody sick because like I couldn't like I care a lot about you guys, and it would just break my heart if somebody got sick. And it was,
but it's also protecting your family as well, right?
That's the other side of it. So I called them and they were like, hey, you know, we know some people are still doing curbside. What about, you know, home delivery? That was something that I was like willing to offer right away. And they were like, you know, we'll check on that. We'll get back to you. They called me like 20 minutes later. They're like, yeah, that stuff is a no. You can do mail order. So that's cool, but anything else, you got to avoid it. So
that's when you made the transition to now we need to switch to mail order, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, that's another kind of hustle, right? Running a shop and having people come in and do the exchange, right? Is very different from let me take your order. Now let me go bag it up and package it up so that it doesn't get damaged in shipment, even though it might be going a couple of blocks away. You know, United States Postal Service, you know, they don't love comics as much as we do. So you actually have to spend more time, more energy, more effort, and honestly use more resources to package that stuff up and then take it to be dropped off and delivered.
Yeah. So like just coincidentally, I had just got in a brand new shipment of Gemini mailers. Like, so I'm good. And it was just like perfect timing for that. Cause I mean, if it was 2 weeks before, I don't know what I would. And Diamond, you've talked a lot about the new Diamond boxes. Like they're not so great for reuse. So I don't know, but yeah, you're right. It's a totally different world that we find ourselves in, specifically for shipping and packing books and stuff.
But basically, what I'm hearing you say is that you are not taking this one lying down, right? You guys are like, hey, some stuff is happening, but we're still going to make some adjustments. We are still going to, you know, do what's right for you, for the community, for those that read comics, right? And so you guys have gone from, I think you guys are still shipping books, right? And it's mostly, I'm guessing, whatever's in pull boxes and or back issues. Is that fair?
Pull boxes, back issues, anything from the live sale stuff that we do. We're actually thinking about doing a live sale just for trades. Just to get, because like that kind of content is going to give more people or give people more entertainment value for their bucks, right?
Longer
like,
period of time, right?
Yeah, longer.
But let's talk about the live sale that you guys did, because I think that was this last weekend. Talk to me a little bit about like why did you think that was a good way to go? How did you set it up? How successful was it? I'm not looking for money, but I'm looking for like response, right? Like talk to me about that.
So the idea came from a good friend of mine, Patrick and Matt, good friends of ours. cool people in the shop, and they were like, hey, we watch Torpedo Comics do these things all the time. We really care about you guys. We want you to be successful. Why don't you try something like that? So I watched a couple of Torpedo, and man, those guys, they have it down to a science.
That is a business like
it
none
is.
other.
Yeah, no, and they're just slinging books, and they've got it all worked out really well. So I pinched a lot of their methods as much as I could, and it was really cool, man. We had a lot of fun. Like I pulled some stuff out of the back room that I had been sitting on for myself, right? But that's a tricky thing, Reggie. If you ever do decide to run a shop, you got to keep your personal collection away from the shop, and like keep the shop away from your personal collection. Don't let those mingle.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Josh. I'm never gonna open a shop, bro.
Don't do it.
I'm never gonna open a shop. Yeah, I may do Garage Con again out of my garage, right? But I will never own a shop.
Yeah, that's cool.
but I'm gonna be honest with you, right? When I jumped up into the auction, I did not know what to expect. But when I saw you guys had those panels up in the back with the letter, I was like, whoa, this is official.
No, that's like a Torpedo thing. Like they figured out like the best way to get people to claim books and stuff. And it was super fun for me. Like I was in front of the camera and I was talking about the books. It was a little stressful for Andrea because she was behind the camera and she was reading the comments and trying to not break anybody's hearts about missing the claims and stuff, but so way more fun for me than it was for her, but it was a lot of fun. It was like financially it was pretty successful.
Good.
And we are so blessed, like as a shop, that there's such a strong community of comic nerds around here that for some reason think that we're cool, and for some reason like us, and there's just been a ton of people that have been supporting us, like buying books and gift certificates. Like, I can't tell you how many times that Tuesday I was like almost brought to tears. Like just the people supporting us, man.
But you do know why, right? You do know why, right?
Tell me why.
You guys are actually like really good people. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I enjoy coming into the shop and having a chat with you. Right. And it's like some days you're busy, some days I'm busy, sometimes it's just like we part, but then other times I just hang out and have a conversation. You and your wife are just really nice people. And I can tell you for a fact that is not always the case in every shop that is out there. Right.
Unfortunately not. Yeah.
and I wish that there were more shops like you guys, but it's honestly, there's no pressure. You come into the shop, you greet people as soon as they walk in the door, you chat them up if they want to chat. If they don't have time to chat, you're like, cool, I see you next time. But it's like it is a wonderful environment. I actually bring my kids in occasionally, and I remember I brought my boy in, and he was back there yanking on the stick of the game, and he was like, "Dad, I want to play," and I didn't even have any change, and you were like, "I've got some change for him." Right?
Heck yeah.
That was awesome, and I think part of it is because one, it's your natural personality. Two, we've become friends or friendly at a minimum. And then you also have kids. And so you understand, Yeah.
That was, it's funny because when we first took over the shop, right? Like there was a few behaviors that we had to kind of train out of Billy and Tyler, right? Billy doesn't work for us anymore. You'll still see him around. He's a great kid.
He's off at college doing his thing.
College. Yeah. But he like, I did I'm taking over the shop. Let's have an interview, not for your job, but just so, I can know you on a professional level. And he was talking about how proud he was that there was this time that this kid was rough with the books in the shop, and he like kicked the kid out. And I was like, dude, like, I get it. Right. Like I don't want anybody to trash my books, but if you're mean to this kid, that kid's never coming back. Right. And we've really try to drill that into these guys that like we gotta be cool to everybody, because the thing is you could get your books digitally, you could get your books online, but like the only thing that we can offer that you can't get there is conversation and friendship and just a cool shopping experience. So That's what we strive to do in the
It's
shop.
called differentiation, my friend. Right?
Yeah.
It is called
Totally.
value add, my friend. I mean, that's huge. I had somebody put up a really negative comment, right? And on one of the pages or one of the videos, and I won't repeat the comment, but it was a pretty negative comment because I think that this person has had some negative experiences in comic shops. And it's very unfortunate that that happens, but it is a turnoff, right? There are comic shop owners that are condescending, that are not very pleasant, that don't, you know, even say hello to you, which is just, that's not the way to run a business, much less a comic shop, right?
And any real like customer oriented business, right? Like it, the one thing that Andrea always says that I've kind of taken to heart is it doesn't cost us anything to be nice. And I think that even if you don't buy something from me, like if you had a good experience, maybe you'll recommend, you know, hey, this guy was cool at this shop. Go see him for a birthday present or something like that. And like at the end of the day, it feels better to be cool and be nice. And I don't know.
Continue listening to your wife, brother, because they are much smarter than we are. Just
oh my gosh, I don't know. I lucked out. I don't know how I snagged that, but
it wasn't your looks or your hair. I'm just
not at all. Yeah,
I'm jealous because I don't have any hair. So here, let me ask you this. You talk to a lot of retailers, right? And I know you know a lot of retailers out there. I know that there are the private Facebook groups and things like that for both Marvel and DC, where you guys get together and you guys congregate and talk and stuff like that. How are other retailers feeling and thinking about what's happening right now?
Okay, so that's kind of all over the map, right? So I'm a member of Comics Pro, which is the comics professional retailer organization. It's like the trade organization for comic shops, right? I think we're probably about a third of comic shops are a member of this organization in some form or another. So I'm a member of that. I'm also in, you know, like a bunch of private groups. I'll just start with that, like any day of the week, there's a lot of chicken littles in the comic book industry. There's a lot of folks that are like, this is it. We're all done. Like digital's going to kill us. Amazon's going to kill us. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloom just in general. Right. Like, and that's a bummer, but I see like people have legitimate complaints with like the way that the industry works. And it's stuff that I didn't know going into, right? Like I knew obviously Diamond's got kind of a monopoly, like they're the exclusive distributor of periodical comics in North America. But I wasn't aware of like all the like nitty gritty stuff. But retailer reaction, there's a lot of folks that you know are very, we're all kind of very afraid, right? There's one thing that I kind of learned or discovered about Diamond is Diamond as the sole distributor, right? There is a lower limit to the number of shops that can exist in order to keep Diamond afloat, right? Like my shop could be the best comic shop in the world, right? But I'm not going to make enough money to support Diamond if I'm the only one, right? So I think that we'll probably see a lot of shops, unfortunately, whether like however we survive this coronavirus craziness, right? There's going to be a lot of shops where guys are just, you know what, I'm ready to retire. This is the time I'm going to go. There might be shops that are in financial trouble that can't handle this hit that we're all going to get. So we're going to lose some shops, and that sucks. I think that like I'm totally biased, but as a kid growing up in a comic shop, working in a comic shop, I think that comic shops and really the medium in general is a very important part of our culture, right? So for us to lose that, I mean, like it's like losing record stores, right? Like record stores are such a cool part of American culture and you know, world culture, human culture. So to lose comic shops in that way would be a huge bummer, aside from my own personal financial stake in it, right?
Right.
But yeah, so there's some shop owners that are freaking out. There's some shop owners that are like, oh, you know, this is like, it's not that bad. There's a lot of people that are like, this coronavirus thing isn't that bad, and you guys, like, it's pretty bad. Like we should all take this stuff seriously and stay home as much as we can. But then there's another shop owner. I won't name him because I don't know if, but he has a very similar feeling that he posted about today that I've had. Is since we're kind of on pause, right? The government thankfully has put into place a lot of measures to protect small businesses and to protect employees, right?
Agreed.
So we signed up for unemployment, like all the guys at the shop. I signed up for unemployment, and I signed up for the SBA loans and stuff that are coming through. And a lot of that is going to be able to keep us like in cryo sleep for the next month or so.
Now, how widespread is that approach that you just mentioned, right? Because those business loans that are being made available through the government are going to go incredibly fast. Our comic shop owners, are you guys talking about that and basically saying, here is my strategy to survive, right? I mean,
So that's the, I want to shout out Comics Pro because I really love that group. Not all comic shop owners do. But they actually provided me with a lot of guidance when I was thinking about taking over the shop. They have a prospective like comic shop owners forum that you can join, and they're like, hey, if you're going to get into this, these are the ropes. You should know these before you step in, right?
And these are the guys up in like the Pacific Northwest, right? Didn't they have that meeting up there recently? A bunch of retailers and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to go in February, but we had some health issues unrelated to the coronavirus.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to go. But that's a great show. They did it in Oregon this year. I think they did it in like Tennessee last year. I can't remember now.
I'd like to go. I like to go to that, to be honest with you.
It's really cool. It's definitely like a retailer side. It's not like a fan side at all. Like, you're not going to meet anybody cool. Like, if Jim Lee's there, it's because people are mad at him about whatever's going on at DC.
It's more of a business meeting than anything else, right?
Yeah.
But it's like Comics with Bueller, a friend of mine who runs a channel here on YouTube, was actually there because he does some things with Comics Pro. And so I was like, I was kicking myself because I didn't think to go.
No, it's cool. And I mean, it's kind of like you get to see how the sausage is made, right? Like at this kind of show. But Comics Pro, super cool. We've all been, applying for those loans. I think a lot of people. So what I wanted to say about how I feel about it is, like, I think Diamond, right? Diamond stopped all shipments. No new comics are coming out. I think that is a great move on Diamond's part.
Okay.
Because there's some shops that right now, because their states haven't been affected yet, they don't have a shelter in place, right? And so they're not going to have new comics, but they're still open, and that's rough. Our shop is like 90% new comics. Like, that's 90% of our revenue, right? Like 85 to 90%. So for those shops that are still open and not getting product, that sucks. But for us, the diamond bill that you get like every week, that is like the drum beat of your entire bank account. Like you gotta get this money, and you gotta get it right back out. Like, the fact that Diamond has paused that is gonna make it so that we can just tighten up, and we can
hibernate and survive.
Yeah, hibernate. We can press pause for like a month or two.
Now, I spoke to another comic shop owner who kind of off camera was basically telling me the same thing. Like, that bill that comes in from Diamond eats up a lot of cash flow.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at comic book fans, they are vilifying Diamond, vilifying them, saying that that was the wrong thing to do. And what I'm kind of hearing from you, and I heard from this other shop owner, it might have been the right thing to do to help comic shops actually survive.
Yeah, because there's no way that, like, I mean, I don't know, like, our Diamond bill, we get 4 a month, 5 a month sometimes. It's like as much as my lease.
Yes.
So if I'm spending, 4 times my lease on product that I can't sell, I'm dead. Right?
Because people aren't coming into the shop. and you can't mail enough out.
I can't mail that out.
And honestly, if you were mailing that much, it would eat into the revenue and prevent you from, right? I mean, it was actually the right move for society, for comic shop owners. And I think that they're getting vilified, potentially unjustified. But
I think it's really the only thing that Diamond could have done. Like, because again, like if shops can't pay Diamond, and Diamond is paying Marvel and Diamond is paying DC for these books, like Diamond's going to run out of money. So I think that pausing the shipments was the only solution.
And they actually have. They actually have. There was some news that came out that I did not talk about on the channel, where Diamond is basically having cash flow problems, and they're basically saying, "Hey, we have some money. We're not paying the publishers right now because we don't have any money coming in to be able to pay the publishers, right?"
Yeah.
And the truth is, I don't even know if publishers are even still printing books in order to have them be sent to Diamond for Diamond to be able to send them out.
Yeah, that's another thing. I know that there's a lot of printers that have been shut down because of the whole thing. So like I feel like if we as a species, if we all just stayed in bed, or, you know, we would just watch Netflix for 3 weeks, we can come out of this and everybody will be cool. But we gotta pause. We all gotta pause.
Yep. So, hey, let me ask you your thought as we get ready to wrap this thing up. Sure. What is your thought on the news that came out from DC? And I don't know if you saw it, but DC basically talked about not necessarily a bifurcated distribution model, but an alternative means of being able to distribute comics out to comic shops outside of Diamond.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of weird, right? Because like as a shop owner, Diamond, I mean, they get a lot of crap. Like Diamond drops the ball a lot, but do I want to deal with multiple distributors of, I mean, I want them to do better, right? I want them to do better. And the competition is a good way to drive that, right?
Agreed.
So, but man, there's this really great book. It's called Comic Shop. I can't remember who wrote it. But I met the guy at Flying Colors, Joe Field. Joe Field is like a legend in the comic book retail community. He's like the founder of Free Comic Book Day. He's awesome.
Flying Colors.
Flying Colors up in Concord. Great shop. But anyway, he a friend of his wrote this book, and he had a signing there at Joe Field's, and it was all about the early days of comic distribution. And you had like 6 or 7 distributors, and they had like warehouses that shop owners would drive to pick up their books. They're like, all right, I want, 600 copies of X-Men #1, and they pull it off the shelf, and then they put it in their car and they drive it back to the shop. It sounds crazy. I don't know if I want to deal with that. As much as, like I said, Diamond can drop the ball, like having one place where I know where, the vast majority of my product comes from, who I need to talk to, who, like, how I do all of those orders, and one like single system is really, really valuable to me. I'm sure that's like just my opinion. There's other people, like, for instance, a game store, right? A comic and games hybrid store. They already deal with multiple distributors. Right. So maybe it's not that bad. But it's the devil that I know.
I think it's pretty bad, bro. I actually had an opportunity to speak with the guy that runs Comicron many months ago, right? And I was asking him questions about certain things, and we got into this discussion about the way that it used to be back in the day, right? When there was Capital Comics and all of these other distributors. And his comment was that it was basically a mess. It was a fragmented distribution model where comics were being distributed at different times, different intervals to local comic shops, and they had to manage multiple orders, multiple invoices coming in at different times. And it was convoluted. Not only, I think, was it bad for comic shop owners, it was bad for fans because we didn't necessarily know who was going to deliver books that week or not, right? It was bad from the standpoint of, so how many comics were actually sold if you don't have an ability to like aggregate and scrub that data in a reliable fashion? You don't really know, like from a print production standpoint, what's true and what's not, right? But Diamond gets a lot of flack, and I think to your point, a lot of it is justified. But there's also some things that they catch flack for that maybe they shouldn't. But you know, because you have a monopoly, you will be vilified, and we've seen that happen with many other companies that are out there right now in this industry.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we can all like say that Diamond has a monopoly and that, you know, somebody should break them up. And the thing is I don't think that there's enough money for somebody to really give Diamond a run. Like there's just, this industry, like, nobody's making millions of dollars in this.
The margins
industry.
are small.
You know, the margins are small at every level of the distribution. Brian Hibbs, another comic shop retailer, he told me this one time when I was first taking over the shop. He's like, the best way to make a small fortune while running a comic shop is to start with a large fortune, and and it's pretty real, man. But
now
I just,
you know why I will never own a comic shop.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that there's enough money for somebody to really like compete with Diamond. It's just, it wouldn't be worth it. And yeah, I mean, like, before Diamond, did we have New Comic Book Wednesday? Like, wasn't it just whenever the comics arrived? Like, I really like Wednesday as like a midweek holiday for all of us nerds. Like, it's super cool.
But it also allows you to plan your cash flow, right?
Yeah.
A whole lot better because there is the predictable influx of when new books arrive. There will be an influx of cash and there will be a trail off. That predictable interval, that drumbeat, as you referred to it earlier, allows you to plan, right?
Yeah.
If it's this sporadic thing, that's hard to plan around. I'm a guy that I work a 9 to 5, but it's not really a 9 to 5, but you know what I mean? I get paid at the same time every single week, every single month. And that gives me a tremendous amount of comfort because of that. Right.
Yeah. No. And that's like one thing that when we were first taking over the shop, Andrea, again, with her nuggets of wisdom, she refers to it as Groundhog Week. Because, you know, Monday we do FOC, Tuesday we unpack the books, Wednesday we have a great day, everybody comes in, we sell some books, Thursday we kind of take a break, and then Friday we're getting ready for the next week. And it's this cyclical thing, and it does like financially lead to a lot of predictability, like when your bills are going to come due, when you're going to be able to take care of that. And it's really cool. We use Square as our point of sale, and that adds a bunch of like inventory metrics and financial stuff, and to be able to see these graphs is like super cool and super valuable for me, because that's, I mean, kind of what I was working on in my corporate gig, right? Was looking at a lot of data and gleaning what we could from that. So it's useful. One thing that's weird about the coronavirus is this year, all of all the numbers are going to be wild.
It's all wacky.
No, this is just, it's not a good data point anymore. So
it's all wacky. I can tell you, I already knew you were a nerd, but then when you started talking about Square and started talking about graphs and charts, I was like, oh man, he just took it to a whole nother level. So
we're prepared.
I was not ready for that. There are actually a couple of comic shops in here. My man Yule here runs a comic shop up in Berkeley. And Jess Pele owns a comic shop as well. So we tend to get a nice, influx of comic shop owners, which give us, in my opinion, it gives a certain amount of realism to the conversation, right? And I think that what's great is that I spend so much time talking to comic shop owners that there are things that I say that you have said that dovetail quite nicely, right? Where I'm not completely off base. And so that's the same thing happens with Pele. When we talk a lot, Pele comes in, drops a comment, and I'm like, yep, I'm cool. I'm spot on, because somebody that is actually in the industry, in that groove, agrees with the point that I just made. And that helps me out tremendously. So
cool, man.
So let's do this. You started to allude to a possible virtual sale coming up.
Can
you talk a little bit more about that and give people some texture for what that's going to be, if you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, how they can check it out, and all that good stuff?
Okay, so we're most active like on our Instagram. That's like our social. That's the one that I like. I find like Facebook is okay, whatever, right? But the comic community on Instagram is just like vibrant and alive, and I love it. So we're going to do our Instagram live claim sale. So it's not like an auction. It's like, we're going to set a price. You want it, you let us know, right? We're going to do that this Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know how many of your viewers are outside of our time zone. I don't know, but 5 Pacific.
A lot of are actually here in this time zone, to be honest.
Cool. Yeah. So we're going to be on from like 5 to 6, and we're going to sling some silly books. I don't know. I don't have any like major keys that I'm going to try to like get rid of. But just some cool random stuff. And I think this time Andrea might be doing the Vanna White thing, so I can be behind the camera because she's prettier than I am anyway.
Yes, she is.
But yeah, that'll be Saturday. Our Instagram is easy. It's just at CrushComics. And yeah. Facebook is at CrushComics too. And if you need to email the shop, it's just Josh at CrushComics. So
not very complicated at all there, right?
Not at all. Try to keep it.
And here's the thing: you guys have actually seen. If you guys are watching this right now, you have actually seen CrushComics a lot. I can tell you for a fact because I've shot a lot of video footage in this shop. Me walking in, me walking out, me walking around. I've done a lot of footage. Josh is one of the guys that I absolutely enjoy chatting with, and allows me to shoot footage whenever I want to.
Whenever, dude. Yeah, whenever. It's a mess right now. Like I'll tell you, like working in the shop and not having customers, I can just be as messy as I want to be. So don't shoot anything for like the next week. Let me.
It's all good.
However long we're tied up in the coronavirus.
It's all good. Yeah. Josh, I want to thank you, brother, for hanging out with me just a little bit. I want to thank everyone that is here in the chat right now hanging out. Again, Josh, CrushComics will be doing a sale this coming Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. If you guys are interested in supporting this wonderful shop, I definitely want to encourage you to check it out. It'll be on Instagram, which is my preferred. If you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to do so at Regie Collects on Instagram, or you can send me an email to reggie@regiecollects.com. Josh, before we wrap it up, any parting thoughts from you?
I just want to say that Hawkeye, how about that 1,000 comic reading contest? So we're at like 630, I think, last time I looked at it. So we're doing really well on that. That's super, super cool. But Reggie, thank you so much for inviting me on the show. It's cool to talk to you. Always a pleasure. And hi to your listeners and your viewers, man. I appreciate it.
There's
I'm gonna do something about this hair.
7,000 of them out there watching your crazy hair right now. All right.
Oh, really? 7,000. I'm glad you didn't lead with that.
I know, right, brother? Yeah. I absolutely appreciate you taking the time. Tell the wife I said hello, and thank her for allowing you to do this with me. If you guys need to reach out to me, I am not too hard to find. Just drop me a message. Take care.